Is it edible?
Huh? I think you're doing something else. Anyway, thanks for coming out this morning, guys. It's early. You're hungover. We've got
Not all of us are hungover.
Wait,
Lack of sleep.
I'm not hungover. I'm still drunk.
But I suppose we should quickly introduce ourselves. We are the never before heard of Jake's Double Fake podcast, going strong for like 3 years. And we also have our friend Richie, who runs both the Penahog Corner and Fairy Tale podcast. We are here to talk about just basic how to start and run your own podcast. We can either sit here and prattle on for the next 50 minutes or so, or you guys, if you have specific questions, feel free.
We've got visual demonstrations as well.
Is anyone actually running a podcast here?
We're looking to.
Anybody? Yeah.
Looking to, yes.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
What are you looking to do with your podcast? Is it kind of general or specific?
It's specific.
What are you looking to deal with?
Basically, my buddy and I, if you guys, I'm sure you guys have heard of Rage Quit Routine.
Yes,
Okay.
actually, got to meet Gus Sorolla last week.
Very cool.
I was at New York Comic Con, so yeah.
Very, very cool. We're going to start something similar to that, just based on Marvel vs. Capcom 3, because
Awesome.
we
Tell
think
me
we're
more. Tell
we
me
think
more.
we're good with it, but we're not as compared to everybody else because of DHC combos and things like that. But
All
we have-
Ultimates come out, they're taking those out.
very true. But we have like Rage Quit qualities
Yeah.
with each other, and anybody that comes over just laughs about it. So we figured if our friends like it, we'll put it on the internet to see if anybody else likes it. So we're in the process of getting a capture card specifically for that, so we can actually capture the game.
Yes.
We
What
just need
are
to
you
know.
going to get?
I'm not real sure yet.
I use a hop-off. I play Marvel vs. Capcom 3 heavily. And I use a hop-off, but the problem is, are you playing on like an Asus monitor? Or where are you
No,
playing
it's
on?
going from just HDTV to my laptop.
Okay. So there's always some lag issues there. So if you're going from HDTV, the hop-off is definitely the way to go. It's a little pricey. It's about $200, but it's got component in, component out, and it goes straight USB into your computer. Very, very easy to use. I don't know a lot about video editing, but I use it very well.
So you're hoping to do a visual podcast?
Yeah.
Is this something you're trying to put up on YouTube and stuff?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
We've got several things going up on YouTube. Podcast being one.
Well, I mean,
Great
are
website.
you going to be doing your commentary live while you're playing it, or are you going to play the game and do commentary over it?
We're going to do some live and then some afterwards, just kind of.
How are you looking to do your commentary afterwards? I mean, all right. First off, most important question: what kind
Did you
of budget
expect to be
are you
grilled
looking
when you got here?
Yes.
Yeah. No, what kind of budget are you looking at? Because that's a very important question
About
for anybody starting
About 400 max to start.
Okay, well that's
Okay.
especially with what you're looking to do. That's really doable because really all you're gonna need is the hop-off, and since you're not trying to play off of like an Ace, since you're not trying to do like combo videos or anything, like high-end technical stuff that's gonna require high-end execution. You can just run with the hop-off. You don't need like an HD Fury. And pretty much just, man, you say Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and he's doing exactly the kind of thing I've been doing.
I know.
Congratulations, you lucked out.
You just made a friend.
That's right.
And potential audience.
And
Yeah,
potential audience.
definitely.
Yeah.
Or contributor, whatever.
I'm gonna approach you from the sound design aspect, from when you're actually doing your pickups and ADR stuff, because that's basically kind of what you're doing. You're doing ADR, you're doing your commentary, your after commentary. That's more or less ADR. So from that perspective, that's what I can help you with, as far as giving you ideas and stuff. And he'll probably be your video guy.
Yeah. Assuming you've already got a laptop that can run it, really the only other thing that you're going to need is a microphone to pick up your audio. And Dylan can probably tell you a little bit.
Now, it all depends on how much you want to spend.
Exactly.
See, this is what you would consider like a sort of professional mic. Like, it is good professional quality, but it's cheap professional quality.
How much is that?
This was actually about $90.
Okay. So right now you're running at about probably $300 with tax. You can get a hot dog for about $180, $190 depending on where you shop.
Now on Amazon, you can go on Amazon and they've got deals for these. And you can probably pick this up for about $70. I bought it straight out of Best Buy, which I don't recommend you do. Well, you can't now because they no longer carry the snowballs out of Best Buy. You'd have to do online shopping.
Amazon.
Amazon, first and foremost, getting any kind of equipment, I would highly, highly recommend you do not go through here. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. I'm sure if you've been on the internet for more than 5 minutes, you probably know why. But yeah, this is a pretty good one. And like I was saying to him, make sure that you get the ones that are about the $70 range. You'll see some that are $40. You'll get the ball. Don't get the stand. Don't get the firewire cable. You'll just get the ball. So make sure you go for the 71 because this is nice and pretty, but it's not everything you need. You know, the stand you could probably do without, but you definitely need the firewire cable for your computer. What type of computer are you working with?
That's an Asus laptop.
So PC.
Yeah.
All right. Are you just recording straight into your computer? Is this going to be a bunch of people with different calls? Like, are you going to record a Skype call?
No.
Okay.
My buddy actually
Our online stuff.
we live together, so we do everything locally.
Oh,
Which is good.
All right. Well, then in that case, I would recommend, and as many people are going to get on to me about this, Audacity. It is freeware.
That's what we use.
I use Audacity. It's totally good.
Is it editing software?
It is a sound editing program.
Okay, well I have a visual.
It's recording and editing.
It's recording and editing.
Okay.
Kind of similar to Adobe Audition. The aspect is that Audacity is freeware, and Adobe Audition is not.
Yeah.
Which is why Adobe Audition sucks.
Also, Cam Studio 7,
There you go.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're pretty well good to go except for
the actual equipment.
Well, the reason I throw this out is for anybody that's starting out podcasting. I automatically assume that they've got a minimum.
Right.
So I'm trying to send them to all the free and open source stuff. So Audacity, when you download it, make sure, and I'm not kidding, this is actually the name of the MP3 encoder for Audacity. I get people looking at me all the time when I say it because they're like, that can't be real. It is. The MP3 encoder that you have to download with Audacity because it doesn't straight come with it is the Lane MP3 encoder.
There's links from the side. There's links from the side.
Yeah, there's links straight to the site.
For
but-
storage.audacity.something. If you just Google Audacity and look for the source.
You need the lane encoder if you're trying to convert to MP3. If you just want to make WAV files, cool. But
MP3 sounds a lot better.
Well, you can actually use WAV files. Just
right, I just what I generally do is I have it all set up in MP3 and then I shoot. I actually break them up into my different segments that we have, and I shoot them over to Tamari in Maryland because she has a Mac, and she basically chapters it with GarageBand on her back so that you can actually skip through certain segments and listen to it. So they're M4As when I get them back, and they're set up in their particular chapters. So if you're listening on your iPod or your MP3 player, whatever device you're using, I mean, hell, you can even listen to our show with an Android. I'm sorry, I'm used to running explicit podcasts. I had to catch myself for just a minute. There are too many crazy people on my podcast for me not to curse at them. So, on both of them. But the converting over to M4As was really important for me because at certain points I understand that we have a fan base for both shows, and that fan base may or may not be current. So they may want to skip the parts where we're actually current. So that's kind of why I did it. Or maybe they just don't like a particular segment. Well, they can now skip it. And I mean, that's kind of how we did it. But I'm assuming that yours is going to be just kind of a straight recording over the video, so you'll just
Pretty
have
much, yeah. We'll have the introduction, introduce ourselves, the game, talk very briefly about the game. I mean, it's been out for a long time, so everybody that knows of the game.
Are y'all going to have like a continuing introduction that you use? I mean, kind of like, I'm going to throw name drops out here, sorry. Kind of like Tobuscus, like every time that, you go to Toby Sucks in Gaming, and every single video he has is basically, hello once again, audience.
Yeah. We'll have that.
Okay.
It'll be short. The first one obviously will be a longer intro, and after that will just be short and sweet, and then, straight us nothing up on NBC. So.
Now, is this going to be straight tech talk, or are y'all going to be
Oh no,
throwing
it's
in comedy?
big rings at each other. And
Yeah, it's not going to be like discussing DHC
Oh no,
or
no, it'll be
Okay,
how bad
good,
it is.
because
the
I was
magneto loop or the Rikison loop or anything like that.
Mainly it's just having fun with each other and discussing back and forth, and yelling at the game, and individual characters, how bad we hate Captain America and things like that.
So it's basically like the episode that Doctor and I recorded playing Gears 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was basically us cussing back and forth, and then later on I found out that one of the people I was cussing at was a fan of my show, and I was like, man, if I'd have known that, I would probably told him he didn't. I probably would have told him he sucks so much.
I have a very important technical question to ask you about your show. What team do you use?
Actually, we do total random.
Total random.
We don't have
Okay.
any set teams.
Do you have a preferred? Like is there a team that
If
say you're not doing total random that you
I
go
have
to?
two different teams I use personally. If somebody's being ultra aggressive with me, I do X-23, Hulk, and Hacker. But I don't use the traditional double area spin.
Okay.
I use the left pipe.
Okay.
And if somebody's being foolish, then I go X-23, Phoenix, and Felicia.
Okay. That sounds rough. I'm just gonna come straight out and say it. Both those teams sound rough. No, that sounds really rough as hell. Okay.
For kicks, I use Shimagora and Jill and Zero.
Okay, okay. You got like a 1 in 3 chance of doing it. Like a 1 in 3 chance. I'm gonna let you guess. And here's it. You can't download. You can't download one that's actually a good. Yeah, we need to.
I keep looking over and seeing the Pikachu hat, thinking you're raising your hand.
Gar.
My mic?
Was it like 70, you said?
It's 70 online. It was 99 when I bought it, so it was about $100.
We overpaid a bit.
Well, no,
Ours is a
Well,
little
now
bit
that I have a
more high.
laptop, I can basically record anywhere straight on Audacity. That's how I did the recording basically at New York Comic Con with the Fairy Tale crew. And basically all I did was I opened up my laptop, booted it up, hooked up my microphone straight to it, set it down. Basically, like if I was interviewing them, it was about right here, and it was set up. You can hear me clearly, even though I'm right behind it. It has a full 360 range. Because if you look on the back,
There you go.
there you go. It's full. And you can hear me clearly. You can hear them clearly. Unfortunately, my only problem was I had the stupid setting on 3, which it didn't need to be. It should have been on 1, and that's why their sound quality sounded a little bit different from mine. They didn't sound nearly as clear as I did. It's just a problem. For a live interview, it sure sounded like a Skype call. But I mean, you can hear what they're saying clearly. It's just they sound a little bit different than I do. And basically, all I did was turn it on, opened Audacity, hit record, and I had 10 minutes with them, and it was a blast. And it basically took me about 3 minutes to edit. And I was like, I can't sleep right now.
So talk a little bit about our mic.
I think this is a Zoom H4. I don't know if they actually make it anymore. I think there is a $99 range Zoom. This is actually a friend of mine got one of these for podcast recording. It's got microphone ports. But we actually use this for a show called Game Marks, where we're doing. We'll play through trials of Xbox Live games and record the audio. So, if you all you need is a good microphone, pick up the whole.
What was the price?
I think it was like $200 or something. Like I said,
Yeah,
I know
doctors was kind of the same. It was about like $200. For those who don't know, Doctor runs a podcast called SSAA, or the Ass Backwards Anime Podcast. And he's kind of sort of the binding chain between us and a couple other people. And he's more the tech. He's very, very much the tech side of the podcast, I would say.
Yeah, but he's not here. He'd be talking more.
Oh God, yes.
this would just become a normal thing.
Dude, okay, I was at AFO and I sat at the Gears 3 panel beside him. We were nerding all over the room. It was very, very messy. That's all I'm saying. And then they talked Assassin's Creed, and it's just.
Yeah, I was about to say, like
If you guys do
Okay.
video, do we need to just...
hosting on video is pretty simple. I mean, hosting on YouTube is super duper easy. The biggest problem that you're gonna have is the time. It's just going to take a lot of time to upload, and sometimes depending on what, like I use Windows Movie Maker a lot, and if everything's not just so, it's gonna kick it back, and you're not gonna know why. There's gonna be a lot of trial and error.
I use the same.
Yeah.
Windows Live.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had too much of a problem with it, just so long as you. Honestly, the best thing I'd say to do, 15-minute long episodes, 480p. I mean, now that's just for me because I was doing a slideshow. I don't know if you want it to be HD quality,
yeah,
720. The higher pixel rate you've got, the longer it's going to take to upload.
You're gonna want to do like a
Standard.
720p.
Hey, I figured most.
Yeah, 720. Don't do 1080. It'll take you forever just for 15 minutes.
Gotcha. Well, we were thinking about 7 to 10 to start.
Right.
I'm trying to build a fan base, and once I got built, then we could extend to 12.
The interesting part about YouTube, and I know this because I've had both my shows up on YouTube for a long time. God rest the dead put on recording. But the really interesting part is once you put up a certain amount of episodes, they will take a look at how many people you've got checking out your site, how many people come to your channel, what your most video is. There's a way. I mean, obviously, I would not say use the YouTube ad thing because you're not going to get on there because it's not your original material that you're using. And if you try to profit off of that, they're going to come down on you quick. But after a while, they'll probably upgrade you from 15 minutes to 20 minutes. Like, Fairy Tale Podcast, I've got 10 episodes that are actually up on YouTube. Even though 18 and 19 will be coming out today on iTunes and Zoom. I haven't edited the video because it's no longer my department. I can't do audio and video at the same time because it's just way too stressful and far too much work. I learned my lesson about micromanagement. I really, really did. I am not going to run. I refuse to run DeviantArt, Facebook, Twitter, the audio, the video for 2 podcasts.
Yeah,
It's just not happening.
Delegation is very important.
Basically, I said, "Hey, minions." No. I basically grabbed a hold of some people that are really helping me out. Nick, my guy in the UK, he is my assistant director and now the video editor. And since Konami Corner's YouTube went under, he now has a lot less he has to do, and I'm teaching him how I put together the Fairy Tale videos so that when it transitions over to him uploading and putting them all together, it doesn't look like everything's like drastically changed.
So they also look at Blip TV. I think they will do TV shows. I'm not sure what they do as far as gaming.
It is TV shows.
TV Tropes is a website that talks about common recurring themes in TV shows. Like the phrase "jumping the shark," it explains where that came from. It's an episode of Happy Days where Fonzie literally water skis over a shark, and that's what. And that's where everybody said, "Fuck this show."
Yeah.
And Dylan's other podcast, Game Arms, they do live video live casting.
Oh, another technical issue which I think we should definitely bring up. When you're recording this, that doesn't ever need to be heard when you're actually doing audio recording. As much as it sucks, I suffer for my show because in the summer I will turn on the AC when I'm recording, and I will always turn off my heater in the winter. So I'm sitting there usually with a blanket recording this crap.
Now, depending on how you're planning on doing it, I know you said you're
I'm gonna have
you
to
got
buy
to
a
like
new
part
chair
live
for this.
commentary and part like overdub after the fact. The live part's going to be the part where you're going to have to be very mindful of things like somebody flushing the toilet.
Right, any ambient sounds.
air conditioning.
I hate the fact that I live near train tracks.
Cats. Cats are the worst. I'll point that out.
Yeah, just lock the cat in a room on the other side of the house.
Children too. Lock children.
I have trains that constantly pass by because there's railroad tracks near my house. And unfortunately, the area that I live in is also very close and adjacent to a major highway that is populated by a fire station, police station. So guess what I hear going around? And I'll sit there and I'll be like, okay, we gotta stop because the police don't know how to mute their sirens when they go by my house.
Pull out some background noise. What I usually do with audio is, and I'll ask it all right through. There's a noise removal filter.
Yeah,
Basically,
that's
take
handy.
a section of clean audio, quality, it'll pull it out. And there's a program called CN Levelator, which has actually saved us.
You gotta show me that.
Oh, noise removal?
I haven't done it.
Oh,
It's iffy.
It's easy.
no, it's
Oh.
easy, but
I thought you said it was
results-
iffy.
Well, sometimes the results it takes out concept.
So what he's asking about is something else. I'm sure other programs have some things that are called noise removal. And really, what you want to do ideally is record a few seconds of nobody talking. So any sort of little hum in the background.
Oh, that's
that,
never gonna happen.
you know, you just take. It doesn't have to be a long clip. Just a couple seconds, and you select it. And you say this is just noise, and it'll go through and remove everything. But you have to be kind of careful because depending on how much noise you have in the background, it will actually worsen the sound quality of people talking. Sometimes it's just better to have that in there. Than,
You won't play with all of this before you actually put it in. But Levelators, it has saved American several times. We just had like a room full of people. I'm hoping the video of this will actually come out.
Are there any technical issues between the broadcasting that you guys?
Oh,
See, I can't relate to any of this.
I was- I would
I
honestly not start live casting until you've got your normal recording process down.
It won't hurt for what you're doing.
No.
Because you could totally get a stream going on like Twitch TV and nobody's gonna care. It's just like it's Marvel.
Right.
Just watch.
We did a live stream test a long time ago. I think we had
live streaming only kind of works for certain times. Like for my crew, I realized that live stream's probably only good if we do it once every 100 years. First and foremost, my crew's fucking crazy.
That's fast.
Yeah.
But the live casting works well for game marks because they have a structure that you have to handle. And they use what Ustream and just Ustream.
I prefer Ustream.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, which one? Ustream is the one that has the magic of disappearing chat.
yes.
Yes, the one that unfortunately I'm overly familiar with.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna do anything on Ustream, and you have viewers that want to use the chat feature, let them know they need to refresh a couple times before they find everybody. It will spawn off these weird chat rooms that may only have one or two people, and you're like, well, why? It says there's like 20 people watching. Why is nobody chatting? It's because they're all in another chat room.
Gotcha.
That's like I said. That's a whole other issue.
Right.
When we do live streaming, we actually have a second computer. So
Again, and it's also partially because of the type of shows and how we have it set up that it doesn't really work. Yeah. I mean, I run two shows. I run two shows, obviously based on Shonen Jump and then just Sunday Jump. And it's one of those things we kind of have to be constant from week to week, and there's major demand and pressure on the current, and it's just not something that I think would work live because we basically what we do is we dub the manga that comes out each week, and we do voiceover for these characters and stuff like that. And yeah, the outtakes that we put up on our CD are hilarious. But the in-between stuff that I actually cut out, not so much. There are times when outtakes go way too far. There are other times when it's just dead air or somebody's internet is screwing up their Skype and they sound like a damn robot going in and out. Bad cell phone reception is another thing that kind of sounds like something. But I mean, there are major issues with connectivity. and just general Skype and recording issues that make it where I'm like, yeah, I don't want to ever do this live because we have so many technical problems.
A lot of it does have.
You guys live close together. That works.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was gonna say,
you live a lot closer than anybody
A
else.
lot of it depends on if you're doing things remotely or if you're doing it all the same room.
Everything I do has to be remotely. I've got one guy in the UK. I've got 5 people in Georgia. 4 people in Tennessee, and then 3 more people in California. 1 in Maryland, and another in Pennsylvania. So depending on the different shows, and I'm actually recruiting females for the fairy tale show because there are so many females in there, and we've only gotten so few that can actually get on now because the school's starting back up. So we need people. We're basically taking voiceover auditions for fairy tale.
So yeah, a lot depends on your structure, your style, and your subject matter. Whether you're an audio podcast that records, a video podcast that records, a video live cast, an audio live cast.
I say do a test. Just do a basic test to see whether it's something you want to edit or if you guys are just ready to go live. I mean, because sometimes you may not think it until you listen back to what is being said, and you'll be like, I don't know if we should do this. It's all dependent on your audience.
Yeah, I was about to say your community because your Marvel community, you can say fuck the next, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
People expect
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if we don't hate on like some other show on Naruto, like I won't allow them to hate on One Piece because I'm a huge One Piece fan. But the predominant thing on Konoha Corner is if you don't hate on Bleach, then you're not one of us.
You're not trying.
You're not trying hard
I
enough.
like Bleach better when it's called Yu
And I like that shit better.
It's called Dragon Ball Z.
Isn't that like the plot point we covered?
Yes, right.
Anyway,
Vegeta, that L cosplayer. He's hot. That's God. The biggest Easter egg that was ever on our show is only for one line of dialogue. In episode 95, we had Takahata for one line of dialogue. And you would actually literally have to listen, but like nobody's really gonna notice because we had Purple Eyes who did the One Piece bridge on there, and he was doing his like Sean Connery movie voice. Oh my god, it was great. The size of the ripples, huh?
we should talk a little bit about audio hosting because we talked about video hosting, which is easy as hell.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh dear.
Well, video editing is difficult. Video hosting is easy. Audio
Editing is easy. Audio
Yeah.
hosting is difficult.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on where you do it. I started out with a place called Podcast Revolution. Don't do it. Avoid them. Alright, I paid, and I still do until I get everything good on Libsyn, which is where I switched to. Libsyn, I highly recommend Libsyn. But for my first show, which was the Naruto one, I used Podcast Revolution. I pay about $25 for 2 gigs of space. You say that, but I have to remove stuff when I post new episodes. With Libsyn, it's very different. I have about 1,500 megabytes for $40 for Konoha Corner. I can post. I posted up to almost 25 episodes. Right? On there, our first 25, because I'm starting with the old stuff, because none of our old stuff's up. I'm only able to hold 30 episodes at a time on the other, and then I have to get rid of them in order to do it. Well, Libsyn archives them. 30 days later, it's archived, and all that space that you paid for is now free, and you can upload the next set. So that's another reason why I like Libsyn. You can do more with your descriptions and stuff. Like, here's the thing, I'm posting really, really, really old episodes, like from March of 2010, right? Those old episodes. Well, when you go into the advanced settings, when you're uploading, you can actually go through and pick up upload date, so that when it gets put on iTunes and it's put on Zune, it actually shows the date that it was originally put out and published. So I go onto my iTunes and I look through my list, and I'm like, okay, it came out on this date. This is when I put it out on this date. And that's what I was doing there. I can make each episode a different picture, so it's not all just the same one. And the stats are amazing. It tells me what states, cities, and countries my show is being downloaded in. I can actually look onto Libsyn if the internet worked here without a security key. I could go on Libsyn right now, and I can tell you that over 200 people listen to me in Tokyo, Japan. And that's crazy for me because I'm an English podcast about something that is made in Tokyo. I'm not even speaking your language. Like,
They like
so, I mean, my Japanese is iffy at best.
they like listening to the same thing. It's like a kid watching a TV show. They don't understand what's going on. They just like all the flashing lights and the pretty colors. You're entertaining.
We're all audio. We're flashing lights and pretty colors.
No, you run it in the little Windows media player, and it's got all the little. And
Dude, I hope it doesn't move with the sound of
It
our
does.
voices, because if it does, we have probably caused at least 300 seizures that I don't even know about. Especially when Tina starts talking, that's
Right.
seizure epic right there.
Dylan, tell them about your way of hosting that no one should ever do.
Oh, what? Building your own website?
Yes.
Yes.
We are all homebrewed.
We are. Actually, I would suggest if you're comfortable hosting it yourself, if you're comfortable with WordPress, there are a number of plugins you can get that will do your podcast RSS feed and let you point to a file.
We didn't do anything.
I totally use. I actually started using WordPress for the Fairy Tale podcast, and what's really, really interesting about that is I've got it set up to where I can post the links in for our episodes, and when you click on, it says episode 17 or whatever, you click on that, it automatically downloads it directly to you. But the coolest part is when we post those blogs up there, it's automatically updated on our Twitter account. So you can see on Twitter, hey, we just posted a new blog on our website about this episode. And people will check it out because the way we run our segments, we do our anime recap, well, we do podcast-specific news for our show, and then we do Fairy Tale news, which is basically just con updates of appearances of people in Fairy Tale. So basically we're saying, hey, this person's going to this con, this person's going to. But,
And you should totally go because you know you need to. We will kill you in your sleep if you don't. Slowly, with babies. Just to make it awesome.
So what plugin are you using to do your podcast? Curiosity.
What plugin are you using on WordPress for your podcast?
just taking the HTTP.
Oh, the RSS. You've got the RSS.
Yeah, I'm just I'm doing it episode by episode. I'm just basically copying the URL and pasting it in. I'm writing the HTML.
Like for the RSS feed, which you submit to iTunes.
Oh no, that was done a while back. No, I just posted the RSS feed into iTunes soon.
Okay.
But I'm doing the straight URL for that specific episode for the actual website.
Okay.
I put it in. I copy and paste the previous one, and then I just change up the stuff that I
Is
need.
that in WordPress directly now?
You
Okay.
can do HTML coding it directly in WordPress.
Well, I meant the podcast RSS feed.
No, I don't know about the RSS feed because I never post the RSS feed. I post the link directly to that specific episode because we do a blog by blog. Alright, I need to run through this really quick. We do Charles' Magical Education, which talks about a different character's magic for the show. Then we do Cooking with Elfman, which is basically is epic mealtime gone anime style. And what we do is we usually have the one that we had, our last one was, and I'm not shitting you, it's called Better Than Sex Cake. That was the one that we just described. We had another one where we had a beer battered T-bone and...
It's not epic mealtime unless you have 25
Dude, okay, no, the meat turtle was epic mealtime. It is ground beef, big old thing of ground beef, wrapped in bacon. Sausage that you've sliced off to make look like legs, a tail, and a head. You throw that bastard in there, and you have a meat turtle.
And then you shove it inside of a turducken.
And you put that in a Boeing 747. I want to wing. I call a turbine. Anyway, and then basically it's epic mealtime gone anime. Because for a while, I think for like 4 weeks, it was all about like what kind of dishes you could make with ramen. Crazy. Or add ramen to a dish or something like that. But
Ramen lasagna.
and what we do is we post Elfman, the guy that does this segment, he types up the actual recipe, sends it to me. I copy and paste it, so you actually have the recipe list set up on there. What you need, directions, the ingredients, all that stuff, the amounts of whatever. It's all there on the site, along with a picture of that. And then we have a fan art segment, and we learned from our original mistake. We are not doing 5 pieces of fan art, just 1 a week. So, and that image will be on that site. And what I do is I go to DeviantArt, type in the name of that, and I copy the URL for that specific image and change it from our WordPress URL to that one. So when you click on that picture, it takes you to the actual artist DeviantArt. So we're officially crediting that person for their work. They're getting the views, the comments, and everything. And generally, everybody that we message them saying, hey, we did this, and it's up on our website, and it's a direct link to here if you want to check it out, blah, blah, blah. And generally, we've gotten really positive feedback from that because we're trying to promote that artist. Even if they didn't listen to the episode and realize that we were actually bashing their artwork because we think Tamara is weird. But she has an interesting sense of...
So you're taking content and kind of merging it into
Yeah.
the same...
We're more or less... I'm trying to I'm trying to create a social exchange with what I'm doing. And then basically that's the stuff that you will actually see on our website. So you have links to the episode that you click and it will automatically download that episode right there. Now that's because it's an MP4 or an M4A. If it's an MP3, it would be a player box and you can play that straight off the site. It's actually really simple. Then it's the recipe list, an image of that particular food item, then an image of the fan art from that week. And then below we actually have links to, I typed in the links and gave them like little shortcuts. It'll say you can also look for us here on Twitter. Click Twitter, it'll take you to our Twitter page. I have it for both podcasts at the bottom. So also you might want to check out, just stuff like that. And it's just, I copy and paste that into a new blog, and then I change the name of the episode, I change the URL of the episode, I change the recipe for each week, and I change the image and put the new URL in for that image. And it takes me about like 5, maybe 6 minutes to do if I'm not waiting on Taylor to type it, or not Taylor, Caleb.
I mean, WordPress is a really good way of handling that. They don't want to build your own.
It's really, really useful now that they're actually linked in with Twitter and DeviantArt and stuff. It makes things a lot easier, whereas about 3-4 years ago, you'd actually have to physically sit there and type in the code if you wanted to do that, which took forever.
Yeah.
But it makes it really, really simple. Their HTML coding is very good.
And the library helps.
Yeah, it does.
And I think for paymarks, we're using something called WordPress that will actually build the feed that you will send to iTunes and things like that. Comfortable with so and what we're using for audio hosting is we just switched over to using Amazon S3. It's you get the first year free, and I don't know how it would work for a podcast like yours. Ours, we don't get enough traffic, and we don't have enough.
I unfortunately get way too much traffic.
They got calculated.
Fairy Tale podcast has only been up on iTunes since the beginning of September. Right? We did 9,000 downloads last month, and that was crazy because we were like expecting maybe like a couple hundred, and that's about it. And then we did 9,000, and then this month, I mean, again, I had put on behind me.
This month it's over 9,000.
I was waiting for that.
This month it's about 16 or 17,000.
What?
We did.
That's impossible.
We did about 1,500 in one day. I posted 2 episodes like 3 days ago. Each one of them has already got over 300 downloads. And it's crazy because U.S. is actually the 3rd place country. The people that download us the most is Korea. Yes, Seoul, Korea. They love us there. I don't know why. Apparently they like making fun of Americans who watch and talk about anime. I don't know.
You're big in Korea.
We are big in Korea. If I ever go there.
if nothing else happens, you can always say, I was big in Korea.
You know what? I think it's just the army posts around Seoul that are downloading us because those, I would assume, the soldiers are the English-speaking ones around there. I don't think it's the actual Koreans. They're too obsessed with their K-idols and K-pop. Which I can't blame them because I kind of sort of am too. I'm sorry, you're at a geek convention, so I'm sure you're used to hearing guys walking around saying Asians are hot. And if you haven't, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
It was that look. I was like, I'm not trying to get you hurt. So. She was like, I will put the pimp hand of Jesus on you. I'm used to dealing with crazy.
Don't listen to me.
Wait, the pimp hand of Jesus.
Have you not? I'm sorry. There was this movie that came out a while back. It's called How High, and you should totally watch it.
Okay. Yeah, let's move.
It's a stoner movie, which is very, very funny.
Better than Pineapple Express.
No, we're not going to do Pineapple.
Let's not talk about Seth Rogen. Let's not give him that thing.
All right.
Actually, the funny thing about stats is if you're getting a lot of hits outside the country, that may just be spam.
Tell me.
Yes. Actually, since we moved to Amazon S3, the stats are not as nice as having a log file on your local server. It's cheaper. It's one less thing to worry about. They've got a calculator if you're worried about what's going to cost you. You plug in the amount of data, how much bandwidth you can have. You can kind of get an idea. If you have the technical aptitudes to look at those first,
Again, like I said, I'm paying like about $40-something because I'm trying to get caught up on all my shows. As soon as I do get caught up, it's actually going to change to $20 for about like 400 megabytes because I only do 4 shows a month.
your audio hosting.
Or four episodes a month for each of my shows. And once I actually get to the point where I'm current like that, that's going to be a lot of space that is just fine with me because I'm not going to need a lot. I can use their minimum requirements paid, their minimum requirement payment. And as soon as I get caught up with my first show, because I'm putting out all the old episodes on a new feed, as soon as I get back to being current, I'm dropping that old feed like crazy because I refuse to pay them any more money. They're ridiculous. And as soon as I get caught up, I can drop myself back down, and then I'm paying $40 a month to run 2 shows.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And your audio hosting is like tied into your iTunes feed.
My iTunes feed, a Zoom feed that we now have, because before I couldn't get Podcast Revolution up on Zoom, and that's crazy.
That's why I was asking about the WordPress plugin. So you're doing it kind of differently. We're doing more like traditional website hosting, web hosting. You're doing more podcast specific. So
Right.
there are a lot of different options.
But it depends. Like for us, we also do our videos as well as just the audio podcast. So.
Also, if you're doing live, you don't have to worry about editing. Editing, depending on how you do it. These guys don't really edit.
Nope, not a bit.
Me? Okay, I've managed to get it down a lot more because I'm beating it into my crew. Not physically, though sometimes I wish. That they're learning what not to do because it gives me way too much work. And then they're like, when they realize that I'm so far behind, they're like, why are you behind on episodes? I was like, why can't you people stay on topic so it wouldn't be a problem? But
just leave the off topic in.
Right. Not with my show format, it wouldn't work.
Exactly. Again, it depends on your structure, your style, your crew.
But now, it used to be that it would take me 7 hours to edit one episode. Right? Now it takes me, let's see, I started editing 18 at about 11 o'clock last night. I finished editing 19 at about 6 in the morning. In 7 hours, I did 2 episodes. And that was all the segments, the news. Oh, and I also threw in the interview as well. And make no mistake, the thing that takes me the longest is not the first half of the show. I get the first half of the show done in an hour. The hard part is actually when we do the manga recaps, because that's voiceover and there's outtakes and there's Skype issues and there's all sorts of stuff that has to be cut and edited. And the raw files are about 30 minutes long for just that set. And then when I cut them down, they're only about 15. So it's actually like cutting and splicing and editing. And then on the 2 recent ones that I did, I was throwing in music in the background because it fit the scene, and I wanted that scene to kind of have an emotional tie-in and stuff. So there's actually a lot more than just the audio dialogue files in there. But I've gotten pretty, I guess I'm used to editing in that specific way, so it doesn't take me long to do that stuff.
We deal with Skype issues by making fun of whoever just dropped out and carrying on.
After all, I learned my lesson. I learned another very important lesson. At the beginning, I was basically, okay, we're podcasting. Let's pretend we're not doing a Skype call. About 7 months ago, I realized that the easiest way to do this is to say, fuck it, we're using Skype. I'm sorry if that offends anybody.
We submitted this as a
Everyone didn't show.
Yeah, I don't see children in here. And
Except for the ones running it.
yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Okay, I do have a mirror. There's one. There's one right there.
The biggest issue we had, what's chat running?
Chad was using a Bluetooth headset.
From underneath the seat.
He did try getting on 3G on his.
He consistently sounded like he was broadcasting from the bathroom
Of the Nautilus.
of the Nautilus 20,000 leagues beneath the ocean. I mean, yes. It was
I'm sorry,
horrible.
that just sounds like Swingers.
Young people are paying attention to me.
So we're like, screw it, we're just going to make fun of you. And every time he dropped out, started talking about it until he came back.
And we left all that in.
Yeah.
Even the parts where he came in, hello, can you hear me?
That was
That's great too. Oh, God, I have that all the time. This is another wonderful thing that's great for Android users. It's called OneCast, and it actually works really well with Bluetooth. I've actually got both. I know it's hard to see. I've actually got both of them, Fairy Tale Podcast and Conan on Corner on there, and you can download it. It's true.
Yeah, we've got about 9 minutes. So, any questions you guys have? Otherwise, the talk's going to turn back to Marvel, and you know, it's maybe you do. We'll start a lively discussion about the changes.
Turn on.
But anybody else have any questions
Yes, that is
about
what she
the technical aspects of it or anything else? As far as just trying to get started, still have any gray areas about anybody have any questions about Phoenix Wright? And,
Objection!
Yes. Something.
I can pin this all at the same time.
yeah, I was about to say,
You want to see some cool shit that Steve Blum did?
okay, fine. Go ahead and show the video.
You actually haven't hooked up to the TV?
No.
No, God, I wish. Hey, where? How do we hook it?
Oh.
Gimme. I need to know this because I have to do it for 2 weeks for a panel anyway.
Looks like there's an HDMI cable.
I don't know if I have that set. I do. Oh, really? That's it?
That's it.
Do you have an audio? Do you have an audio cable for the headphone jack?
Done and done.
Appreciate you guys sticking with us. You're all real troopers.
Yeah, when this comes on, this is actually, there's this girl in the Philippines that is amazing. Her name is, her DeviantArt name is Andrea2002. And her actual name is Jennifer. She did that for us. That is actually, pretty much everybody that's on our crew for Hot Corner. And we mentioned Doctor before. He's the Ario that's walking into the room going, what the hell? And yeah, that's pretty much stuff.
I'm not in that picture. Aw.
You're eating baby back ribs. That's why you
Right.
couldn't make it to the party.
That's bad.
Yes.
Anyway, what Gar's about to show is a promotion for an event that took place back in March called Anime Fans Get Back to Japan. We did it the week after the earthquake and the tsunami. It was our podcast, his podcast, the Ask Backwards Anime podcast, the unofficial One Piece podcast, and a bunch of others. We all got together, we contacted a bunch of English voice actors, got them on podcasts.
It's basically like a mini internet 24-hour convention.
Yeah, we did
Live
a
stream.
24-hour live stream event to raise money.
And we it ended up going really, really well. Beyond expectations.
Yeah, we ended up raising $30,000.
Wow. Yeah, $32,000.
Most of that came in when Crispin Freeman brought his kittens.
Yeah. When Steve Bloom came on, or
Crispin
Freeman came on, brought his kittens and $6,000 in 1 hour. You can explain that bullshit to me?
Like 4,000 of that was when the kittens started showing up.
All right, here's the craziest part. Now, this is how cool Steve Bloom is. You guys know who Steve Bloom is? Spike from Cowboy Bebop, Tom the Robot from Toonami, Tom from Toonami. Well, I had this crazy, brilliant idea to do a promo for it.
Richie goes,
Like it was a $2.
Richie goes, do you have Steve Bloom's email? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, I want to email him about something. I'm like, okay, go nuts. And this is why he came back.
I nerded all over the place when I heard him. Just like the audio.
Your favorite podcasts of your favorite shows have banded together to help give back to Japan. They call it Anime Fans Give Back to Japan. Nice. The One Piece podcast crew is holding down the host duties while keeping you up to date with Luffy and the crew.
I think they should have done
Konoha Corner is bringing you all the best in Naruto.
I told him to. Twice, actually. Yeah.
The SSAA podcast goes off the beaten path. Twice, actually.
Only one truth prevails. Only one truth prevails. Okay, for those of you wondering, that's Gintama. And yes, that's the WB
And wrapping it all up, the Chainsaw Buffet podcast is bringing a guest list anime fans will drool over.
It's fast.
There is no more doubt! Spit up! Who the hell do you think I am? Visit helpjapan.onepiecePodcast.com to find out more. Let's give back to the country that has given so much to us. We're still going strong.
Yeah, we got a lot of fan response from that when we posted it on YouTube. But
Anyway.
everybody, so y'all can post it on YouTube.
It's about time. I guess another house name coming in here, but check us out. Konoha Corner, Fairy Tale Podcast. Gar's got
Yeah, I've got
business
cards if
in
you
there.
want them.
We're totally unprofessional. We don't have business cards, but Chainsaw Buffet, chainsawbuffet.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook,
Everybody had freaking business cards.
everything.
If you just try Googling Chainsaw Buffet, you'll end up
Naruto.
Yeah, you'll hear it.
Kids. And maybe some